Hi guys, we're going to make this nut for tightening the hinge on this sight. I've got a couple lines marked out on here. I don't know how well they're showing up in the video, probably not very good, but I need to turn it back to, I need to turn it to 400 thousandths back to the first line, and then I need to come in and make a little bit of an undercut, just kind of for looks. And then I'm going to come in and drill and thread the whole thing. Then I think what I'll do, I don't have a knurling tool, but I want to put some grip on this nut where you grab it. I've got an idea how to do that. We'll get to that later, but I think I know how I can do it. So right now we're just going to turn back to this first line. We're going to turn it to 400 thousandths, and right now it is at 425 minus about 2/10. So we're going to turn that to 400 quick. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Come in here till we touch off right there. Zero it. You take 10 the first time. Come back, take another 10. Measure it quick. Just a hair less than 6, and see where we come out. Like I say, this doesn't, the washers that it seats against are 400, and I just want it close to the same as them. If it's off by a few thousandths, it's not going to be a big deal. We're at 399 plus maybe a 1/10. So, alright, the next thing is I want to come in here and cut a little bit of an undercut in here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of high-speed steel right here. I'm going to have to grind it a little bit narrower and grind a little bit of a radius on the end. And then I'll just come in here and plunge right in and take that out. So let me go grind this tool and I'll be back. Okay, I'm set up here. I'm going to drill and thread this thing first before I put that groove in it. So I got the center drill in here. We'll drill it, center drill it, then drill it 11/64 and then run a 12/24 tap in it. Go a little bit more, then I ought to have plenty. I've probably got enough now, but I just want to make sure. Okay, we're going to call that good. I just don't want to bust this tap off in here. It's the last thing I need. I have to try to get a tap out of it. Get it parted off. It'll just be a matter of, you know, running the tap back through it real quick just to make sure that it's threaded all the way through. But it should be there now. So I'm going to go ahead now, put this groove in it. Just kind of line it up here. That looks pretty good. Now, for the fun part. I got to do a little rigging here, because what I've got to do, I've got to come back here off of my spindle gear, and I'm going to use that basically as an index ring, and then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grind the other end of this tool bit right here, and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put, just manually running my carriage back and forth, come in here and cut grooves in the face of that knob right there so that I got something to grip on to turn it. Then once I get that done, I'll part it off. I want to turn it around because I want to do a little detail work on the other face of it, and then this part should be done. So I'll come back when I get a little more done here and show you where I'm at. Alright, what I did is I ground this piece of high-speed steel basically like a threading tool, only it's not exactly 60 degrees because it really doesn't matter. And then I don't know if I'll be able to do this without making a bunch of racket, but I don't know how well you can see this. I made a quick dirty indexing rig. I got my indicator stuck here to the top of the lathe, and then I ground a piece of 3/8 brass with a wedge on the end of it to fit down in the gear teeth on the spindle gear. And then all I got to do is just lift up on it a little bit, rotate the gear, and drop it back in the next notch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm just going to touch the tool okay, right there it's just touching, just starting to pick up a chip. So I'm going to dial it in about 5 thousandths here. I'm going to make a cut across there. All I'm doing is just pulling it through there with my carriage. That's not deep enough, so we're going to go another 5. Now there, it's really wanting to grab. So we're going to back out here a little bit. Okay. Now that's looking like a pretty decent groove in there. So what I'm going to do, move to the next one. Come across it. Take a look here. That don't look too bad. I'm almost a little too deep though, I think. We're going to back out just a little bit. Move to the next one. Yeah, I'm still, I think, just a little too deep. I went too much. Move to the next one. Oh, there. That's cutting real easy. And it's leaving good depth. And it looks good. So I'm just going to go right on around this thing. and I'll come back when I get it done. We'll part it off, turn it around, and do a little work on the other face of it, and then we should be done with this nut. Okay, I made it all the way around. Worked out pretty good actually. So now what I need to do is I need to part this knob off. I'm going to take and knock these burrs off of it first, and then I'll part it off, and then I'm going to flip it around and just hold it as lightly as I can. And I want to dish the front of it out just a little bit, just for looks more than anything else, just to make it a little more decorative. So let me get these burrs knocked off, get this thing parted off, and then I'll come back and we'll dish that nose of it out, and we'll put the whole thing together and see how it works. So be back in a little bit. Alright, I got this thing cut off and turned around. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here with a file. I'm just going to real gently break this edge right here. Put a nice bevel on it there. Now I'm going to take the same tool that I used. Well, my camera card went full on me just as I was about to start that last part there, but got it done. It's turned out pretty good. All I did there was I took that little round nose tool and just put a little dish in the front of that nut, and I took and rounded the corners a little bit. But I think overall it turned out pretty good. You can take and twist this thing down, and locks it up nice and tight. So I think it's looking pretty good. There's still a few little rough edges here and there that I want to clean up. I want to do something up here at the top, round these corners over a little bit, and do a little bit more polishing on it. There's still a few spots in it right here. The spot where the vice jaw got it. There's a couple little things here and there I want to clean up on it. But for the most part, this hinge itself is done. Now the next project is we got to make the windage adjustment nut. And that's going to go, it's going to be a captured nut that goes in this bottom hole right here. And that's what's going to move the sight from side to side when you adjust it for windage. It'll be free to rotate in there and have threads on the inside of it, but it'll have a ring on either side, and it'll be knurled about like this is, where you can get a hold of them. when you twist that nut, you know, the nut's going to be captured on both sides so it can't move, but the threaded rod that runs through the middle of it will go side to side. And then there's going to be a guide rod above that that goes through this little 1/8 inch hole at the top, and that's just basically going to hold everything in place. You know, because if all you had was a threaded rod going through here, your sight would fall over on you. So there's going to be a little 1/8 inch rod that runs through this top hole that just kind of, you know, it holds everything up and keeps everything in place. But anyways, there it is. I think it's looking pretty good. And that'll be it for now. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Have fun, be safe. We'll see you next time.